Gio Reyna to Nottingham Forest. Here we go, as reported by Fabrizio Romano and other journalists that we're going to go through very soon. This here we go right here is not really more like the Romano here we go. It's more of that here we go when the Joker blows up the hospital and everyone's very upset. It's like, why did you do that, man? Why did you blow up that hospital? Don't worry, no one blew up a hospital here. Everything's fine. Well, not everything's fine, but no one blew up a hospital. But my overall point is, I'm very concerned about this move. I'm gonna go through it. I think there's a lot of red flags. No pun intended, because Nottingham Forest is, I guess, they do wear red. Uh, but I think this is a very underwhelming move. There's also a conspiracy theory surrounding it that I totally just made up in my head that I'm going to tell you very soon. And you're going to tell me if I'm going crazy or if what I'm about to say makes any sense. There's some positives. One of them is this is not a permanent move, it's a loan. They're going to cover his salary, as Romano is was mentioning, and then during the summer he can probably find a new club, so long Nottingham Forest doesn't buy him, or go back to Dortmund. He did renew his contract with Dortmund till 2025. So I don't know, man. We're going to address all this today. And Albert is asking thoughts on Zion struggling for Japan. Yeah, so Zion is a dual national goalkeeper that plays for the Japanese national team. He's been struggling on the entire Asian Cup. I haven't been watching all their games because it's super early. I know they won today 3-1, and they advanced to, is it the semifinals now? I think it's the semifinals, or is it the quarterfinals now? But I have no thoughts on that. We're struggling with goalkeepers ourselves. The goalkeeper in Nottingham Forest, Matt Turner, we're going to go through some of the advanced analytics and stats of Nottingham Forest. Matt Turner is one of the reasons why they're not doing well. There's multiple reasons, but he is literally one of them, Matt Turner. So that said, I don't have many that I can criticize Zion specifically. Some people are saying this is like Weston McKennie to Leeds. Not quite. We'll address that. It's a little bit different. But let me go through my conspiracy theory. If you look at this tweet right here, and again, I'm totally making this up right now. I like to say this before I say a conspiracy theory so people don't think I'm like a legitimate conspiracy theorist. Um, I'm not, and usually my conspiracies tend to be true, actually. So I'm more of like a realist. But this is the conspiracy. They say right here, Fabrizio Romano said, Nuno was pushing to sign him, and deal is now placed with his agent, Jorge Mendes. So this is the conspiracy right here. Over the past few weeks, there have been rumors of multiple teams interested in Gio Reyna: Sevilla, Olympique Marseille, Fiorentina, and obviously the first one was Nottingham Forest. Well, guess what? Nuno Espírito Santo's agent is Jorge Mendes, which is the same agent that Gio Reyna has. And I don't know, I could be wrong about this, but I had never seen any Nottingham Forest rumors until Nuno Espírito Santo got there. Jorge Mendes in the past has had issues with clubs. I believe, and again, look it up yourself, do your own research on it. If I'm not mistaken, his relationship with Fiorentina was actually damaged a while back because Gerard Gattuso, the manager of Olympique Marseille, and guess what? Another club that was rumored to be interested in Gio Reyna. Jorge Mendes has a long history of trying to push his players on the teams that, have a coach that is managed. He manages the career. He's the agent of the coach. He's the agent of Gattuso. He's the agent of Nuno Espírito Santo. So my question here is this. Could it be, and hear me out, could it be that there just wasn't enough interest in Gio Reyna? Or the interest was from very mediocre clubs or clubs that didn't want to pay his full salary? And then Jorge Mendes just pushed Nuno Espírito Santo to request the signing of Gio Reyna. And and then obviously Gattuso maybe with Marseille. The Fiorentina rumor, I was told, and there were also reports online from a reliable reporter that they weren't very real, that Fiorentina wasn't really interested. And Sevilla, who knows? I can't comment on that one. Maybe it was real, maybe not. But I'm just saying that this conspiracy that I'm totally making up right now, I'm making it up with some evidence to back it, right? I gave you some of the evidence in my reasoning. Could it be that just Jorge Mendes told Nuno Espirito Santo to request the signing of Gio Reyna. Understand also that Nottingham Forest earlier this season, they got Andre Santos from Chelsea on a loan, and Chelsea just recalled Andre Santos this winter because they weren't playing him. So my question to you is: there's no option to buy, there's no obligation to buy. Gio's on a loan. What motivation do they have to play him? They might just not play him. That's one of the red flags. They might just not play Gio Reyna. Now you're going to say, oh, he's super talented. He's better. Yes, but he's arriving mid-season. Their captain, Morgan Gibbs White, right? Morgan Gibbs White, a good player, by the way, a very good player. He plays mainly at the 10. He mainly plays at the 10 for Nottingham Forest. Are they going to? I've seen him play out wide in the past, but are they going to move him out wide? Are they going to move Morgan's Gibbs White out wide? I don't think they will. Nuno Espirito Santo right now, especially, we're going to go through the stats in a second. It doesn't seem like he likes wingers that are more Gio Reyna style. Gio Reyna will probably be a 10 or an 8 for them. He seems to like the pacey wingers. We see him play Elanga, Nico Williams, I guess Hudson Odoi, that's been stinking up for weeks. Even though last game against Arsenal, he started the Argentine guy, Dominguez, out wide. Yeah, the Arsenal game that Matt Turner dropped the stinker once again. So again, I don't know how this is going to work. I don't think Gio would be playing the 8 in the Premier League. Another red flag that we're going to talk about is the Premier League. The Premier League is not a good league for injury-prone players. It's very intense, very physical. Obviously, world-class players too when it comes to talent and ability. But it's a league that is very fast-paced, very physical. And if you're injury-prone, it tends to hit you and hit you hard. Look at Christian Pulisic. He was very often injured for Chelsea. And even with the limited minutes, he would consistently get injured. Goes to Italy, which is a very good league, one of the best in the world, but much slower paced league, right? So Christian Pulisic has been healthy all season. Gio Reyna, some of you might say he hasn't had a muscle injury in a long time, which is true. His last injury was, a broken ankle because of the rude Canadians. But at the same time, until proven otherwise, he is injury prone. Like, you're gonna say he hasn't really gotten injured this season, like no muscle injuries. Well, no shit, he hasn't been playing. It's like me saying I haven't gotten a knee injury in 3 years. Why? Because I haven't been playing. And hopefully I don't get a knee injury. I just got back to playing soccer. But again, until proven otherwise, Gio Reyna is injury prone. And going to the Premier League is definitely not a good thing. So we talked about how the best player Nottingham Forest has plays the 10 and is their captain. He's also English. And Gio Reyna would have to fight for that spot to start. So he might still not be a starter unless you see him playing out wide on the wing, which I don't think he'll consistently start on the wing. I could see him getting minutes on the wing under Nuno Espirito Santo, but I don't think it will actually happen. So it's a move that has no guaranteed minutes. He could go there and not play, like Andre Santos didn't play when Chelsea loaned him to Nottingham Forest earlier in the season. I don't know. And then we're going to go through some of the stats here. I want to put this on screen because people are saying there is an option to buy for $20 million, which in terms of Premier League numbers, that's not a lot. But this guy right here, Patrick Berger, whatever, he said, update on Gio Reyna to Nottingham Forest, no buy option. That's what he said. That's what I'm going on. I mean, maybe there is a buy option. There seems to be some conflicting reports. Some people saying that there is a buy option. Some people are saying it's just a loan. Based on what this guy's reporting, I don't have no insight. He's saying there's no buy option, no obligation. So it's just a loan. He's saying it's just a normal loan till the summer with a loan fee of 1 million euros, which is nothing for them. Forest will cover the full salary, which is around $3.5 million a year. That's what Gio Reyna makes. And according to information, Borussia Dortmund have extended Gio Reyna's contract from 2025 until 2026. So essentially his contract now goes all the way till the 2026 World Cup with Borussia Dortmund. I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think. Sure, that because try to understand it this way. If Gio Reyna went into the summer of 2024 with 1 year left in his contract, Dortmund would essentially have to sell him. They would have to sell him essentially if he doesn't renew it. he renewed it for an extra year. So they could trap him all the way till the summer of 2025, then sell him then, and he could continue to not get minutes. The good news is Terzic is leaving Dortmund during the summer, but still, I still think Gio needs a new home, a place where they pay money for him, and they're willing to believe and bet on him, just like Milan is doing with Pulisic, and it's been great. It's been tremendous so far. And S27 saying, I think there's a buy option. That's not what the media is saying here. Um, Fumar Mota saying broken leg is an injury prone example. I agree with you. That's what I was saying. Uh, the last last injury he really had was a broken bone because of a rude Canadian tackling him in Nations League. But what I'm trying to say is before that, Gio was consistently getting muscle injuries. Consistently. And ever since, he has barely played. So we don't know if those muscle injuries are actually gone or he's just not playing. And if he goes to the Premier League, where the intensity is much higher than the Bundesliga, um, we'll see. Very often, too, in the Bundesliga, there's a lot of space. The Bundesliga is a very transition-oriented league, counterattacks, how most teams play at least. We'll see how his game adapts also to the Premier League. But let me go through some of the stats here with Nottingham Forest, which that's what makes it a bit alarming, I would say, when you go through the team stats. These are the Premier League. This is all, the source is FootMob. FootMob is a great source. So I'm going to ignore FootMob rating. I don't think that matters too much. But here's the first one. Nottingham Forest is 15th in the Premier League when it comes to goals scored per match. They score 1.2 goals per game, essentially a goal per game. They stink it up on offense. They stink it up. That's not very good. That's not too bad also when it comes to a relegation battle team, which is what they are, but it's not good. Goals conceded per match, they're 17th. That doesn't matter much for Gio, and that's a lot to do with Matt Turner. 1.8 goals conceded per match. If we go down here, this is where it gets concerning for Gio Reyna. Average possession. Manchester City leads the Premier League with 64.3 because that's just Pep. Pep loves it, and they have players that can do that, hold possession. Lots of possession. No, actually, there's a lot of penetration when it comes to Manchester City. A lot of penetration. And if you think I'm saying anything else than a through ball, chance creation, then you have a dirty, dirty mind. A very dirty mind. Okay. Nottingham Forest, in average possession, they're 17th on the league. They average less than 40%. So this is not a team that holds the ball for very long. And Gio Reyna's main attribute is in possession. It's when he has the ball in his feet. It's not defending. It's not pressing. He can do all those things. He's shown it in Dortmund. But it's really not Gio Reyna's forte. He's good with teams that have more possession. That's why when we play in CONCACAF there and we're dominating possession, Gio will look better. He's good on the ball. So that's not good. That's the first alarming stat. Clean sheets, doesn't matter. Nottingham Forest only has 3. Expected goals. Nottingham Forest right now has 25.7 in expected goals, and they scored 27 goals, which means they're barely underperforming it. It means their forwards or whoever's getting the goal scoring opportunities. I think Wood is their top goal scorer, if I'm not mistaken, Chris Wood. They're taking care of the opportunities. They're scoring the goals when the opportunities are created. The only problem is right now they're 17th in expected goals. So they're not creating enough goal scoring opportunities. You may say this is a positive because Gio Reyna comes in to maybe fill in that gap. He'll be the one that creates goal scoring opportunities. So I don't know. This could, you can see this as a glass half full, glass half empty. I tend to say one thing, and I really live by this rule. And this is one thing I've said from just watching soccer for so long, and even though I'm not that old, but I have easily 20 plus years watching soccer, a few years working with it, and then the past few years covering it, which I watch way too many games. I tend to say that bad teams make good players look bad, and good teams will make scrub players look good. And that's what worries me about Gio Reyna with Nottingham Forest. Doesn't matter how good you are, it's a bad team. They're not going to hold, well, bad team for Premier League standards. So look, I know I'm sounding overly pessimistic about this move because, in fact, I am. I'm rooting for Gio. I hope he does well. I'm going to be watching every single Nottingham Forest game, even though Matt Turner will probably be benched by then because they're signing a new goalkeeper. I'll be actively rooting for him as I always have. I just don't like this move. I really hope there was some planning behind it and they didn't just get this move done just because he wanted out of Dortmund. It's like the best option he had, and he said, "Fuck it, I'm out of here." Um, what I'm saying is, I hope this wasn't an impulsive move because there's a. I'm pointing it out to you. There's a lot of red flags here. I'm not making this shit up. There's a lot of red flags, and Queen Nadra is saying I don't think Forrest is a good option, but he isn't going to start ahead of Gibbs White or Nico Gonzalez. Well, Nico Gonzalez plays for Fiorentina, not Nottingham Forest, right? Nico Gonzalez is a Fiorentina player, and again, we talked about this earlier. I don't think that the Fiorentina rumors were real. There were people that I talked to that apparently know even Rocco Comiso and don't even bring up that conspiracy. Rocco Comiso does not pay this shit. I never talked to Rocco. I don't know him. Uh, I think the Fiorentina rumors weren't real, and Jorge Mendes has a damaged relationship with Fiorentina after the whole Gattuso saga. So I don't think they were real, and I think Nico Gonzalez plays out wide at times, but Gibbs White, yeah, man, I don't think they're gonna bench him. I don't think they're gonna bench him. Um, Oh, it's not Nico Gonzalez. It's Nico Williams. Yes, Nico Williams plays out wide for Nottingham Forest. He can play as a right back and play as a winger. He played as a winger against Arsenal the last game. So, not Nico Gonzalez. Nico Williams plays for Nottingham Forest. So, I'm correcting the super chat right there from Queen Nadra. It's not Nico Gonzalez. It's Nico Williams. Elanga has also been, honestly, okay for Nottingham Forest. Elanga hasn't been terrible. He plays mainly at the right wing and play on the left wing as well. Hudson Odoi, that I would say was fairly disappointing. Fairly disappointing. BL Karikan is saying, would have loved to see him and Josh Sargent together. Don't know if he would fit, though, for Norwich. I would not want Gio Reyna going to the EFL Championship. If he's going to go to the second division of Italy, I would have preferred for Gio Reyna to stay with Borussia Dortmund. Going to Norwich would have been far worse than going to Nottingham Forest. And also, I said how Nottingham Forest, they are a relegation battle team, but I highly doubt they get relegated. The bottom three this season, Burnley, Luton Town, and Sheffield, they're far worse than Nottingham Forest. Signing Gio Reyna will help Nottingham Forest in one way, shape, or form. They're also probably going to sign a goalkeeper, which I think that'll be probably the biggest upgrade they can have right now because Matt Turner has been terrible for Nottingham Forest. I'm rooting for the guy. Love Matt Turner, but he has been terrible for them. So that's another thing too. But going on here, shots on target per match, Nottingham Forest has 3.3. I don't think that matters too much for Gio. Big chances, they're 14th. Big chances created with 38. Big chances missed 22. So they're not that bad. They're 15. It kind of matches the position they have in terms of efficiency. It's roughly the same. Accurate passes per match. This is an interesting one because it doesn't matter too much. They get 285 accurate passes per match, if that is accurate. And then Manchester City 6. So essentially like less than half of Manchester City, which makes sense. Touches in the opposition's box. They're 16th in that one. Penalties awarded just one. I mean, this is the team that it's mostly going to be defending, right? That's mainly what they do. I've seen them strike the opponents in transition. They're going to get a better goalkeeper, and they're going to do fine. I think a big reason is Matt Turner, the reason that the defense is not going well. But let's go through one thing here real quick. I'm going to go through their players. So Chris Wood, yeah, I was right about that. Chris Wood is their top goal scorer right now. Elanga is their top assister with 6. Morgan Gibbs White, that I think is probably Gio's main competition. He has 3 assists. Mainly play as their 10. He can play out wide. I just don't think so. And again, here, some people are saying Turner is not the problem. He is part of the problem. He is. And look, I saw this as a joke yesterday, but I'm going to say it. There's very often where the Brits, there's an anti-American bias from the Brits. With Matt Turner, that's not the case. When you watch the games, from Nottingham Forest. You can see Matt Turner has been error prone, has been poor with his feet, and he's made mistakes that led to goals. Like the Gabriel Jesus one this week was another terrible one. He's been abysmal for them. But when you look at advanced analytics, Matt Turner has also not been good. And we can try to go here. Let me see if I can find Matt Turner, and we can go through him because even the expected goals on target, he's been underperforming. Let's go to Matt Turner. Okay, let's go through Matt Turner's stats. Let's see if we can find it here. Here it is. Here it is. So look at this. This is Matt Turner's stats, and I'm zooming it in for you. It's not looking good. The ranking right here is compared to other goalkeepers in the league, and it's mostly orange and red. And the biggest alarming one is the goals prevented one. Look at the goals prevented. Negative 5.45. Essentially, goals prevented is they get how many goals he conceded and what were the expected goals on target. And he's running a negative 5.45, which is the worst in the league, or the second worst in the league. He's not doing well. He's not doing well. I don't care too much about the penalty goals conceded and penalty saves. Those don't matter. Errors that led to goal. He is number one in the league. He's number one in the league in errors that led to goal. He's number one in the league number one in the league in the worst side of goals prevented. He's the worst one in terms of goals prevented. When it comes to save percentage, he's a little bit below average. I would say average. Goals conceded, can't overly blame him, but at the same time, you can because the goals prevented is negative. The only thing he's got going for him is high claims. Everything else, he's at best average, at worst, the worst in the league. So statistically speaking, he hasn't been good for them. I hate to say it. I'm rooting for Turner, and I loved it when he got the move because he was going to get minutes, but this is just the truth. He hasn't been good for Nottingham Forest, and we sort of have to accept it. But everyone, if you just made it to the stream, make sure to drop a like. Gio Reyna goes to Nottingham Forest. He should be available this weekend already. We talked about it in the stream. If you missed it, go back and we broke down the red flags of why I think this is not a good move. Even though I'm hoping it works out for Gio for the sake of the U.S. men's national team and for the kid. I'm hoping Gio Reyna is very successful. And then that's it. And then I talked a little bit about the conspiracy too earlier in the stream of how Nuno Espirito Santos, his agent is Jorge Mendes, which is the same agent as Gio Reyna right now. And Jorge Mendes has a long history of pushing his players in teams like I talked about. I believe it was the Gattuso saga with Fiorentina. But before we go, drop a like in the video if you haven't already. It really helps the channel quite a bit. And let me know in the comment section of this video your thoughts. Rate this Gio move from 1 to 10, in your opinion, from 1 to 10. Jeff is saying, my cousin would like to know if Nottingham Forest is moving Gibbs White. There were rumors that Nottingham Forest was going to sell Gibbs White to Newcastle if Miguel Almiron was going to go to Saudi Arabia. But apparently the deal for Miguel Almiron to go to Saudi Arabia didn't go through. So I don't think they will sign. I think Newcastle's also dealing with some financial fair play issues. So no, Gibbs White is not expected to leave Nottingham Forest for now. If he does leave, it's great because then Gio might become a starter. But I don't think he'll leave. It doesn't seem like it right now at the time of this stream. Julian Viva is saying, so far, Nottingham Forest hasn't signed a goalkeeper. How long do they have until the transfer window closes? Also, will you do a live watch-along for the Super Bowl? The live watch-along for the Super Bowl is to be determined. If you all want me to do it, maybe I'll do it. It's going to be not this weekend, the other weekend. The transfer window closes Thursday night in England, which is our afternoon here in the United States at Eastern time. So they have until Thursday, which is tomorrow. They have till tomorrow to sign a goalkeeper. They're pushing hard from what I heard. They really want a goalkeeper. They also still have to somewhat release Ethan Horvath to the EFL Championship. I think they will sign a goalkeeper. They've been pushing for the entire month, and Horvath will probably be released. It seems like Cardiff City is one of the options. That's what's going on right now. That's what's going on right now. And Matthew Allen saying, any word on Horvath? Just said it. Might go to the championship. They plan on releasing him. And they're saying, honestly, man, the idea that they don't intend to play him is crazy. Why would they pay for him if they don't intend to use him? That's not a small amount of money. One, they were paying for Andre Santos, Brian, Nottingham Forest earlier this season, and they weren't even putting him on the bench. I don't think that'll happen to Gio, but They didn't play Andre Santos from Chelsea, and then Chelsea recalled him. Two, for a Premier League team, 1 million euros is not a lot of money. It's honestly almost nothing for them these days. 20 million euros is a cheap transfer in the Premier League these days. 1 million is nothing. Tiago Martin saying, hi, Filippo. When will be the next watch along with Pete? I don't know, Tiago. Whenever the United States plays, probably. Outside of that, there's not many watch alongs that we can do together, but probably we'll have videos together. We'll have videos together. But just to make it clear, Brian, I think they'll play Gio. I'm just saying I don't know if he'll start. Now, if he goes there and just comes off the bench like he is for Dortmund, wouldn't it be better for him to just stay at Dortmund? Who knows? Who knows what the plan is? He renewed his contract at Dortmund, which I don't like. Queen Idra saying, do you think Gio starts ahead of Gibbs White or Hudson Odoi? Hudson Odoi, maybe. Gibbs White, probably not. Arriving mid-season, Gibbs White is probably their best player. I don't think Gio will start over him. He plays at the 10. Hudson Odoi has been kind of shit for Nottingham Forest. But it depends on what Nuno wants out wide. This is a team that defends a lot and tries to hit the opponents in transition. Gio Reyna is not really the pacey type of winger. He doesn't have all that pace. He's not slow, but he's not a pacey winger like Nico Williams and Elanga or even Hudson Odoi, which is even why I think Morgan Gibbs White was moved centrally. I don't think he's as fast as these other players. He's also not slow by any means. They're saying Gibbs White missed 2 weeks with an injury just now. Yeah, but I think Gibbs White is coming back soon. I think he's coming back soon. Glenn Cassiano saying Nottingham Forest is a bad move. They have a terrible medical team. Seem that like they treat their players poorly while recovering. Gio's prone to injuries. Yeah, that's another red flag for this move that I don't like. But you can also add the fact that the Premier League is not a good league for injury-prone players. We talked about Christian Pulisic, right? Christian Pulisic, in his move to the Serie A, he's playing more and he's not getting injured like he was with Chelsea with muscle injuries. They're saying, will you stream the Inter-Juve match? I won't be able to stream it. I'll be watching it on my phone. I'm going to be on the road this weekend, everyone. I'm going up to North Carolina to the mountains where it's very cold. The USMNT Abroad episode will happen normally. I'm going to be watching the games, going to record it. It's going to be done. But I won't be able to do live watch-alongs because I'm not going to be at home. I'm going to be at the road watching the games on my cell phone. So won't be able to. Sorry about that. I do want to. That's a massive game over the weekend on Sunday. Inter Milan and Juve, the battle for the top of the Serie A. McKennie will start. Tim Weah fighting for that starting spot with Cambiasso. We'll see how that goes. But everyone, drop a like in the stream. When I close it, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think of Gio Reyna's move? And also keep in mind, me and Dustin will talk about, we might do that Patreon idea where we do the Patreon and the money that comes in, a good percentage of it, we reinvest in the community with meetups, giveaway for tickets, giveaway for retro jerseys that I have access to in Brazil, and much more. We want to give back to you all, and that's what the Patreon is about. We haven't launched it. We're still thinking about how to go about it, the Discord and everything, but we're going to get it done. We're going to get the Patreon done to strengthen the community and try to help soccer grow. And we're going to make it cheap. No content will be put behind a paywall. No content. We're strictly against that. We're going to keep the content for free as always. That's something I will not concede. It will be free. The Patreon is something extra that we want to do to give back to the soccer community that we have in the United States. Okay, I still believe that the content has to be free and it will continue to do so. Thiago Martins saying, is there any Brazilian going to play in the US this year? Gabriel Peck from Vasco is going to LA Galaxy. That's one thing I know. Besides that, I can't think of anything else. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Have a great day. Rate Gio Reyna's transfer in the comment section. And if you're a Nottingham Forest fan, let us know what you think of this move. Okay? Ciao. Oh boy, you guys you always send a super chat after I'm done. Thank you for the super chat, but I'll address it here and then I'll go. Nottingham Forest is also being threatened with a breach with the financial fair play. You are right. Do you think they'll sign another goalkeeper? They could be in serious trouble. I don't know. I think they'll be okay with the financial fair play from what I've read. there's risk, but I think they'll be okay, even though the Premier League has been cracking down on clubs. We saw Everton lose, I think, 10 points. I think they will sign a new goalkeeper. They're really pushing for it. Okay. Thank you, Julian Vivas, and bye-bye, guys. See you. Oh, we have a video with her coming out tomorrow. Bye.